David Paul, thanks for being here. This is a where are they now little chat here. You and I worked together spring summer 2024. About a year and a half ago. You were one of my first clients when I formed the Racket House, and um, wanted to just bring you on here because I've seen like immense things happening for you, immense positive things happening for you since we stopped working together, and just wanted to have a quick check-in and see how things are going, why you think they're going that way, and any tips or tricks you have for those listening.
Yeah, man. Well, it's good to see you. We were long overdue for a phone call anyways, so this is even better. Um, but yeah, man, I mean, a lot happens in a year. When I've been making music a really long time, but when I decided to venture into this space, it was almost 4 years ago, maybe 3.5 years ago. Um, and in the beginning, I thought I can do that. And I was quickly humbled to realize, like, oh shit, there's a lot of stuff to learn. Not
So
just
when you say this space and that, what do you mean, like being an artist, or what are you kind of referring to?
the dance music worlds and house music worlds that I when I first started DJing when I was 13, that was what I was interested in. And then my music taste changed. I was in punk bands, I did hip hop, and even in all the ventures I've tried to do, cooking videos and tried to do like the influencer thing for a minute with like cooking and other stuff, it always came back to the music. And what we see on social media, we see online, it looks very attainable. And I think that's why there's this huge influx of DJs and producers now, but there's so many other elements that go along with that. And I think that's what the last few years have really taught me. And even just little things, just maturing as an artist and not letting writer's block ruin your day,
Right.
and having enough shit going on that if you are like, oh, this idea isn't working, you can move on to something else, or work on cultivating relationships or something like that, and then come back to the music, because all of that stuff helps the creative process.
Yeah. And just from my perspective, when we first started working together, we didn't know each other in person. We actually jokingly said we worked together and didn't actually meet in person the entire time until like after we kind of finished our engagement. But when we worked together, I saw this super talented dude. I loved your music and your productions. I loved your overall energy and vibe, your eagerness to learn, our morning chats, your hunger and thirst. But there was, a little bit of, I'd say like the confidence stuff, or knowing how to navigate the industry, knowing how to put yourself out there, knowing how to build connections. That was like a lot of the stuff that we worked on. And then I still tell people this to this day. I think we're halfway through, what our engagement together. And you were telling a story and you go, not to be cocky, but, and I go, whoa, stop. Like, did you just hear yourself? Like when we first started working together, you never would have said that. So
Yeah.
I just want to like sort of applaud your work ethic and your drive to do this. And just like, you're a very likable guy. And I think that's probably been a big reason that you've been able to build some of these connections. But give me some of the like quick hits, like what's happened in the last year and a half since we stopped working together, and where do you see things going, and tips for those kind of trying to do the same.
Well, the biggest thing is the relationships, because none of these things can happen. None of the good stuff can happen if you're not building relationships, and not just DMing people. I'll get messages now. It went from me sending people messages to try to get feedback on stuff to now people sending me messages asking for my feedback and things like that, which is really cool. But also don't just send a link with no context. You know what I mean? Yeah, like
I have people do that to me all the time, just from like my Racket House page. It's like I will get artists who would just send me a random video, and it's gotten so much that I've made posts about it, and I'm like, stop spamming people. Like, start a conversation, say hello, like fluff the ego, say I love your music, would you mind checking my stuff out,
and just a little context.
I had a guy on TikTok message me, and I was like, does this work for you? And he's like, And I think I was basically just trying to drive the point home. I was like, do you always send music to people you've never had a conversation with? Like, I'm sorry, but I don't have the time to check stuff out. Like,
Yeah.
have a conversation with me first. Get to know me. Let me get to know you. Anyways, back to you.
Yeah, no, but that's huge. Like I'll my first thought when somebody sends me a video or something, I'm like, "Oh, did they play my song?" And then I watch it and it's not.
Yeah.
It's their song,
Yeah.
which is great. And like I love hearing what people are working on. And I tell people all the time when I find people on SoundCloud or something like that, um, I reach out to them and I'm like, "Hey, like your stuff is fucking awesome."
Hmm.
I found this dude last night called Light Leak, and he has an EP out and it's really, really good. And it
Hmm.
just popped up from a video on my feed. Every slide was awesome. And I was like, I would fucking play every single one of these.
Yeah.
So I
We
sent him a
love we
message.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I sent him a message. I'm like, hey man, I just discovered you. Love your stuff. Like,
I
and keeping things non-transactional, I think
yeah.
is the key,
Yeah, I actually I came across an artist that I really there's this one song. It's called "Luxury" by Rumorous, and it's got like I did a post recently on like I feel like G House is making a comeback somehow, and I use that song
Yeah.
as an example. It's got like this really dope groove with a hip hop hook, and I checked this artist. We got support from some really big artists like Jamie Jones and some of them, and I checked this dude out, and I'm like, he's like first of all, I couldn't find Beatport wasn't letting me download the song for some reason. So I hit him up and I was like, "Hey, here's my receipt. I bought your song, but it's not letting me download it. Like, is there any way you could send that to me?" And he's like, "Yeah, no problem." I was like, "By the way, I love this song." And then I noticed he's starting to make other kinds of music, like Afro house and melodic house. I'm like, dude, you should keep making stuff like this. This is good. And who
Yeah.
knows? But I feel like you come across these producers at the same time who are maybe you feel like they're more talented than where their careers are at that time, and you're kind of rooting for them. You're like, oh, this artist could be huge, if they
Yeah.
stayed in a lane or kept. But this is we're going on tangents here. So talk to me. The last year and a half. What's give me some hits? What are the highlights?
Well, the relationship that I've built with Smith and Soren and the SNS Soundhouse community that they've built has been really, really cool. Smith and I talk almost every day, and through that relationship, we did a collab, and that collab ended up getting signed to Hood Politics. So
Nice.
that was a huge goal in the beginning, and through that, I've started to build relationships with those guys. Got to meet a lot of them in person at Miami Music Week,
Mm-hmm.
and all these people that I'd been talking to and sending messages to and periodically DMing and getting a response from, but
Mm-hmm.
never asking them for anything.
Right.
When you meet those people in person, it's a different rapport.
So different. Yeah.
It's so different.
Yeah. And
And
so
I
to those listening, it's not all, you're in this lane of like electronic and dance music, and your goals when we were working together were to try to, get releases on, maybe some more established labels, maybe to do some collaborations with some other artists in your space, maybe to get some gigs that were a little bit more meaningful and maybe beneficial to the beneficial to your long-term career. So you worked on building relationships. I think it was really awesome to hear that, you're under management now. You have a booking agency working with you. I mean, you started a record label, like all these things. And I'm not going to say that it's all because of me and the work we did, but I do feel like, who knows if we hadn't done a lot of the work that we did to like encourage you, to push you, to chip away at some of these things we had, it's absolutely possible that could have happened. But I like to think that, a lot of the work we did was that foundational stuff that you took and ran with and really stayed true to.
Yeah, because in the beginning, you question, is this good? Are people gonna like this? I think we all have a tendency to make stuff we think people want to hear,
Mm-hmm.
and there could be a flash in the pan, and you could have something pop off that way, but the longevity sometimes doesn't go along with that.
Right.
And I think I hit a point where I started to be like, I like people like the stuff I'm doing and it's different and it's been a slower burn, but then the rewards outweigh the
Yeah.
time waited. You know what I
What
mean?
What do you think is the reason for, like, again, all of this growth and success, right? Like, every artist, not every artist. There's a lot of artists out there who either think they need a manager, they want a manager. That's almost like a badge, that a badge of honor that says, like, you've made it, you've gotten a manager. Or, same thing with a booking agent, right? Like, in my opinion, a booking agent's more significant because those people will directly be responsible, if they're good,
Hmm.
for getting you gig live performance opportunities. Managers, in my opinion, can be hit or miss. As a former manager, what do you think are the reasons that those people courted you and ended up wanting to sign you to their agencies?
I think it's a couple things. It's persistence. Um, it's relationship building.
Persistence in what way?
Um,
Were you knocking on their doors? Is that what you mean by persistence?
yeah, kind of. I mean, my theory is always until somebody says fuck off, like you have no reason to stop sending messages, like send an email until someone says we're not interested,
Yep.
and sometimes that happens fast and sometimes that happens after a long time.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I mean, people are not great communicators. So if you just leave me on red,
Yeah.
I'm going to assume the door is still open until you say no.
Yeah.
So
That's one way to
that,
look at
yeah,
it.
I mean, and sometimes those people are just really busy and sometimes they come back around and sometimes they never come back around and nothing ever happens. But getting over the being told no and just realizing like you're going to get told no a lot of doors are going to get slammed in your face, a lot of emails are not going to get returned and stuff like that, and just knowing that it's not you, not taking that shit personal and just continuing the path you're on. It's this can be a mental beatdown over a long period of time
Yeah.
of solid rejection, but
Yeah.
eventually something happens, dude, and it's like, I mean, the track I did with Smith and Soren, the Freak Leak remix, a couple months ago, we got a song stats notification that Diplo had played it on Sirius XM. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. That's awesome. And also realizing that like these little wins are not career changers either,
Hmm.
like that's a notch on the belt that helped solidify uh Julian, who's now my manager, kind of being like, and he'd been watching what I've been doing. We met at Industry Hours, and he's the host and the panel host for Industry Hours,
Right.
which is in
Yes.
LA. They
Very,
do
very
a monthly.
charismatic guy. So you guys met in person. That's where the relationship initially started. He got to
Yeah,
know who you were. He made a connection. He started following you online. He started seeing all the work you were doing, the music you're putting out, some artists playing it, maybe some social media stuff, because I love your social media stuff, maybe all that. So he was watching you, right? And
yeah,
seeing, like, is this guy for real? Is this guy worth my time? Managers need something to manage at the end of the day. So is
right.
it going to be something that actually is a good investment of his time? And it sounds like there was a breaking. Was there any single moment that created this breaking point for him, or was it just kind of like sum of parts?
Um, it was kind of just everything. It was timing. Um, it was us developing a friendship and kind of being friends first.
Yeah, the
I had
friendager,
him.
the friendager.
Yeah, exactly. I had him over here. We collabed on a track.
Nice.
We started something. We still haven't finished it. Um, he was working on a track. He gave it to me to master, and I was, still kind of figuring out how to do that to the best of my ability. And he ended up not liking what I did. And he was like, well, I still want to pay you for your time. And I was like, I'm not going to take your money because I didn't finish the job.
Right.
And just, I don't know. I think just like being real and genuine, and again, like not making it transactional.
Right. But
And
it is, as a manager, transactional, right? So did he at one point just be like, hey, I want to manage you? Or did you say, hey, I'm looking for management. Would you consider me? Like,
I told him early on, hey, if you ever want to manage a house artist, because he manages a bass artist, Sector 8. He's dope. Um, and yeah, I think it got to the point where just he saw what I was doing, saw that people were starting to play my stuff. He saw the relationships that I was building, and not putting those things out in a flashy way or like a braggadocious way, but just like you should also be proud of the stepping stones and the bridges you've crossed to get to
Right.
where you are. And yeah, I think it was just timing. And so he is with Powerhouse Management, and he wanted to pick me up. They weren't quite sure, and he said, "Well, regardless of what they say, I still want to help you."
Mm.
And so we kind of started doing work together, and you know, people always say you don't need a manager until you have something to manage, and I think it just got to that point where he was like, "You've released a lot of music, you're getting traction. I think I can help you." And then he met Cassidy, who runs Audia, and that's the booking agency. And so he had a conversation with her. She checked me out. And when we had our initial phone call, she was like, "I've already checked out all your stuff. I love everything you're doing, blah, 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 blah." And so, but it took, like 3 years to get to that point where I was confident enough to put stuff out, not caring as much about what's popular or whatever, but just, this is a good song. I like how this
Yeah.
turned out, and
And I
sharing it with
remember
people.
a lot of what we worked on too was kind of like finding your sound, finding your voice, almost like, people throw around brand a lot. I don't know that we necessarily like dug into the brand stuff too much, but it was I remember you'd hit me up or you'd get on a call with me so excited, be like, I had a breakthrough moment, like I figured out what my sound is or what the direction I want to go in. And that's like a huge moment for a lot of artists. And some artists take triple the amount of time to figure that out. So I think that's all
That's
great. I
probably
think
changed multiple times since
yeah.
since then too.
I mean, I listened to some of your music. I'm like, that's not what he told me back then, but it's all good. Quality music is still number one. That is always going to be king. So putting out, good music consistently, and then, building a really strong brand around yourself, building a really good community around yourself. Again, from the outside looking in, unfortunately, I no longer live in SoCal, but it looks like you've been building a really strong community. You have a label, you're doing events and all that stuff. So you're embracing what I believe, is a lot of the foundational stuff that we talked about. And
Mhm.
you're growing that, you're watering it, and it's great, man. I'm really excited for you. I'm really proud of you,
Thank you,
and
bro.
I can't wait to see what's next. This was going to be a 1-minute chat that turned into almost a 20-minute chat. I love it, but it's good. It's good.
Lots to cover.
Maybe we'll throw it on the YouTubes. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you. And like I said, you're one of the very first artists that I worked with in this type of way. And it just makes me on a kind of personal, selfish level. It's validation that what I'm doing is working for artists like you and everyone else out there. So thank you so much, David Paul. Go check out his music. Go see him live. And yeah, this has been a mini podcast episode of the Racket House podcast. I don't know. This is weird.
I think it
This has
was,
been
yeah.
a chat with an old friend. How about that? This has been a catch-up call with an old friend.
We just
Thank
need
you
a
guys.
fireplace.
Yeah, I have no idea where I'm going to put this, but maybe on YouTube. We'll see. So thanks so much, man. I'm going to keep watching and rooting for you.
Thank you, brother.